Welcome to yoga. I'm Brittney, this is Unique, and I will press play on the playlist link below in 3, 2, 1, play. All right, so to honor everything that's happening in the world today, one day before Earth Day, we're gonna keep it kind of mellow and low to the floor, and just honoring and being close to the earth. So why don't we lay down? Start all the way on your back, and if you're comfortable on your back, great. You can do whatever with your hands, leave them flat down by your sides, or maybe one hand over your heart, your belly, both hands at your hips, up to you. If you have any low back sensitivity, you could always take both of your blocks and stick them underneath your knees as you lay back. And that'll take some pressure off. Rock your head from side to side. Then slow yourself down so you can start to feel all the places that your body is in contact with the ground, with the earth, with all of its energy. Notice if that energy below you or inside of you feels hurried, stagnant, flowing, or pulsating. I want you to imagine a slow whirlpool, just energetically swirling around without any agenda other than to be present. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Take an open mouth exhale. Again, breathe in through your nose, feel the air. Exhale out of your mouth. Last time, breathe in. And relax again around your neck, your jaw. Breathe in and out of your nose for a count of 4. Exhale for 6. Notice if that feels too short or too lengthy or just right. Make your own adjustments. Remember to listen to your breath. My words will guide you, as well as the visual. Stay here for one extra moment, remembering the word of the month, to evolve. I also want to trickle in the word sustainable. And do whatever feels sustainable in your body, right here, right now. No forcing. More so acceptance, potentially a little edging. Start to bend your knees, walk your feet in right behind your hips. And just lift up your hips so your low back can really flatten into the ground, and then pull your knees up towards your chest. Rock around from left to right, feeling out your low back, your pelvis, around your sacrum, your upper back. And then pause, let your knees flow over to the right. And just notice if that picks up your left shoulder, and see if you can anchor down your left shoulder and stretch your arm out to the side in a big T or in a cactus shape. Don't worry if your legs can't remain stacked and together. You can use your right hand with some overpressure over your left thigh to feel into this twist. Just a beginning. If it feels good on your neck, look over to the left. Generate a little core strength. Come back to the center as you breathe in. You can recenter your hips if that feels good with your toes down, or just let your knees fall over to the left. Opposite side, let your right shoulder anchor down. You can put one hand on your belly or your thigh. Just feeling it again for that swirl of energy within you. See if you can relax your bottom hip. One more. And use your core, come back to the center. Plant your feet down right behind your glutes. You can put your arms all the way down by your side so that your fingertips can reach for your heels. You can push it to your head. Tuck your shoulders underneath you so your heart feels more propped up. Take a breath in and pick up your hips. Start to lift up through the pubic bone. Keep your chin off your chest. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Stay up here. Way to feel the digging down of your heels. Pull back into your head, towards your head with your heels. So you feel the backs of your legs engaging, bringing in more light and energy. Notice the opening in the front of your hips, how your low back feels here. Keep your throat open, your neck long. One more. And exhale, lower down, one notch at a time. Take it slow, slow, slow. Good. Then you can take your right ankle, cross it over your left thigh. Keep a little open window and just notice if your thigh wants to come back towards you and see if you can energetically push it away from your left shoulder in a diagonal. And you can take that whole figure four shape up towards your chest. Take your hands and interlace behind your left hamstring or even on top of your left shin. Notice your right glute and gently rock from side to side. If you find a good spot, you can stay there and take 3 more breaths. You can use that right elbow to help you push your knee down and away. Keep your toes pulling up towards your face. Nice. And then try taking that leg off. We'll bring both legs together, hands at your hamstrings. Try kicking up both legs up towards the sky. Pull your toes back towards your face. It's okay if your knees don't straighten out all the way. And then bend your knees all the way. Let your heels come towards your butt. And then extend. Feel your quads turn on. That's the front of your thighs. And then bend again. Try to keep your back neutral. And bend. And then we'll try the other side. Okay, so right foot down, left ankle crosses over. And just first feel what that energy feels like if your knee was going away from your right shoulder energetically. That's you using some muscular strength to help push it away. And then see if you can keep it like that, but bend that right knee up towards your chest. Pull the toes up. Find some activity in your ankles as you rock from side to side. You can pause again on a nice spot. Last breath. Perfect. Now this time, release your grip, uncross your left ankle, and you're gonna hold onto your hamstring, and this time you're gonna rock your feet back over towards your head, and so you can rock forward onto your sacrum. Go along your spine multiple times, however fast or slow you wanna go. See if maybe you can control yourself and pause right in the center. And then you can just cross your ankles, rock over or swivel over onto all fours. Okay, coming into a tabletop, bring your shoulders over your wrists, your toes can curl under while your knees are stacked under your hips. Breathe in, find an arch in your spine. A big extension, a heart opener. And then breathe out, round, curl under. Push the ground away. Inhale, lift up your tailbone, lift up your head. You can even look up with your eyeballs. And exhale, coil it all in. Get really strong. Feel your belly button lift up. One more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in and come to a neutral spine. And keep your shoulders over your wrists, but start to walk your knees backwards so that you come into a modified plank. So your hips will come down too. You're in a nice long line. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can always just come onto your toes or stay in that tabletop. Okay, but try to channel in your core, push the ground away. Take a big breath in. Big breath out to lower in 5. Bend your elbows back, 4. Hug them in tight, 3, 2, 1. All the way to the belly. Keep your legs long and untucked. And let's go hands really light on your fingertips, wide off your mat. Elbows up towards the sky, okay? Unstick your toes, or actually put them down into the earth. You're gonna keep them separated at hip width distance apart. Push your pubic bone down into the ground. Breathe in, lift up your head, push into your fingertips, just peel up your heart once. Good, exhale and dip your right shoulder down. You can look over to the left. And breathe in and come into the center, tighten up your thighs. Exhale and dip your left shoulder down. Look to the right. One more time each side, breathe in, pull your shoulder heads back. Exhale, let them dip forward, breathe into your chest and shoulder. Inhale, back up. Exhale, dip. Good, breathe in, come back to the center. Find a little lift in your chest and then breathe out. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Lift yourself up back through a tabletop or modified plank. And then pull your knees wide, toes together, hips back for child's pose. Relax your forehead to the ground. Come back to the surrendering that you did at the beginning of class. Just giving in to the ground, the earth. Imagine your tailbone being pulled back towards your toes. Your thigh bones really heavy. And let your spine be really long. Commit to the exhale to let you drop down a little deeper. Relax around your neck and your shoulders. And start to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders and keep your legs as they are. Pick yourself up so that your shoulders are over your hips. Take a breath in, sweep your hands to the sky, find a long spine. Exhale and side bend over to your right. Reach over with your left hand and just notice your waistline all the way down to your hips. And you can circle out the top wrist or even just relax your head all the way down. And use your breath in, rise back up, both hands high. Exhale, switch over. Notice if you feel not just the side stretch or the stretch in your neck, but also the stretch in your ankles, your feet, or across your knees. Nice, breathe in, come back up. This time, keep the energy reaching out through your fingertips. Bring your knees in a little closer together. Okay, and push down through your shins. Breathe in, come all the way up. Push out through your hips. Good. Exhale and swing your hands backwards. Hover your thighs, your hips. Nice. And then inhale, come back up. Squeeze your glutes, reach up. This time, exhale, pull your elbows wide. Think about lifting up through your chest, your heart, tailbone down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sweep the arms back, hip hinge your hips back. Keep your core really engaged here. Breathe in, come back up. Exhale, elbows wide. Inhale, back up to the sky. Exhale, sweep it back. Good, breathe in and come all the way up. Good, exhale, hands in towards your heart space. Nice. Just take a breath. Notice if it feels good to stay on your knees with your toes untucked, or if you want to sit with your toes tucked and come all the way back onto your heels. Okay, stay right there. Let's release the hands. You can take a grip of your fingers behind your back and take your hands over to the left side. So let your right shoulder really anchor in and keep pressing your low back into your right forearm, and just drop your left ear down to your left shoulder. Keep this pure side bend in your head. And if this grip is like way too crazy for you, you could just reach for your left elbow or bicep. Then take your gaze, your chin, down towards your left shoulder. And feel this out in another part of your neck. Let both of your shoulders get a tiny bit heavier. One more. And bring your head back to neutral. Relax your grip, whatever one you have. Do a shoulder roll once up towards your ears. Exhale them down and just check in with yourself. Do you want to stay with your toes tucked under? Like, this feels like nothing for me because I do this all the time. Same with you. So if your toes are like screaming, give yourself a little shake out, and you can just sit on top of your ankles if that feels good too. Or like Uni's doing, sit on a block. Okay, we're gonna go other side. So flip your grip, take that goofy grip, and then reach all the way around and across, taking your arms, hands to your right hip. Anchoring into your spine, finding that long spine. You can always just grab onto your bicep too. Keep it low. And then drop your right ear slowly to the right shoulder. You want to imagine this space on the top of your head, or even at the base of your skull, finding distance from the top part of your shoulder, like where your shirt sleeve meets the body of the shirt. Those are your two reference points. And then play with taking your chin down towards your right shoulder, finding a different angle, maybe even flexing your head forward. Notice how this side feels. One more breath. And then bring your head back to neutral. Release the arms. Take a breath in, sweeping them all the way up. Exhale, let them relax back. Go ahead and shift off the feet. Give them a little slap. Grab your blocks if you don't have them yet. Set them up medium or highest height. Let's just step the right foot forward. Tuck your left toes under and lift that left knee. Okay, straighten out both of your legs. Coming into a modified pyramid. You can lower that back heel down if you want to, or you can stay lifted. Take a breath in, think long spine, like that halfway lift. Good, breathe out and do a forward fold. Relax your head to the earth so that you can see your left ankle. Notice if your ankle wants to touch in, so your foot's at an angle. take a moment as you're looking down at the ground. Recognize the house you're in, the land you're on, what part of the world you're in. Give yourself one more breath here. Inhale, lift your spine just so you're about halfway. Bend into your right knee, pick up your back heel, and lower into your hips. Let yourself sink down into the pelvis. So you're just in a low, long lunge. Okay. Stay right there, really powered up in your legs. It might feel really good to feel some energy zooming in through that right hip and the front of your left thigh. Keep your left hand glued down, breathe in, and open up your right hand to the sky for a twist. If you want to drop your back knee down, you always can. Remember to find what's sustainable for you. Take one more breath in and a breath out. Plant your right hand down. Check it out. Back foot is going to pivot so that your heel comes really far in. Inhale and reach your left arm all the way up and back so you come into a stand. And so now straighten out both legs again and shorten your stance if it feels super long. You should be about like a leg's length distance between both of your heels, arms out wide. Take a breath in. Exhale, shift your hips backwards, fingertips forward, and then tilt yourself so that your arms come to 6 and 12. Use a block if you need to underneath that bottom hand. You're really rooting into your feet. Imagine that right sit bone at your glute tucks underneath and your tailbone's reaching for your left heel. And your spine feels really long, and whether or not you're looking straight or down at your bottom hand or at your top hand, I want you to do what's right for your neck. Okay, squeeze your thighs. Find a little energy in your left hand. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Swivel that left arm down and let yourself come into a wide forward fold right in the center. So point your right toes to match your left. You can take it as wide as you need to. Breathe in, think long spine. Exhale, fold down. I want you to play with bending your knees, straightening, just like you did when you were on your back. Checking in with your hamstrings again. You'd also rock your hips from right to left, feeling out your inner thighs. Three more breaths here. On that fourth breath, breathe in and come to neutral. And walk with your hands up towards the top of your mat. You'll have to pivot your right toes forward and your left toes forward. Take a big step, left foot to meet the right. Take a breath in, find a halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Okay, take it slow. Bend your knees, rise up. Nice and easy through the spine. Good. Take a breath in, shoulders up or arms up. Exhale and relax everything, either at your sides or hands at your heart. Either way, it's all good. Okay, take a breath in, arms reach for the sky. Exhale, take a dive down towards your blocks. Breathe in, find a halfway lift. And exhale, keep the left foot forward, right foot steps back. You're gonna keep your legs straight. Breathe in, find a long spine. And exhale, find that dive down into your pyramid pose. Whether it's super long and your toes are facing forward, or it's a little shorter and your back toes are facing out. Notice what it's like to pivot your hips, right? So if there was a block sitting on top of your sacrum, Maybe you work your right hip down a bit, keep pulling back on your left hip crease to feel the outer hamstring. Or maybe you let that lift up and you really pull your pelvis away from your left ankle. You can keep playing between the two. It's like doing a little hip waddle. Waddle wobble. Both of them feel different, right? You just do what feels good for you. For 2 more. Inhale and lift up your head, finding some energy in your back body. Bend into your left knee, pick up your right heel and scoot your toes back further so your hips can get low. Your thigh is about parallel to the ground. Keep your right hand glued in. Breathe in and lift your left hand to the sky. And again, that back knee, your right knee can touch down. That feels good. Notice if that front knee, the left knee, is wanting to splay wide or collapse in. Can you find an anchoring that feels really good, like you did in your bridge pose, right? Dig your heel into the earth. Feel your shoulder blades collect behind you. Take 1 more breath in. Exhale, let it come down. Okay, so back foot or back knee lifts. Back foot grounds down with the heel coming in a lot. Use your right hand, breathe in, reach it forward and all the way up and around like you're reverse cartwheeling out. Okay, now arms are long, legs are long. Find an activation of your quads. Okay, shorten the stance if you need to. Take a breath in. Exhale and shift your hips backwards, fingertips forwards until you feel your obliques turn on. And then you can tick-tock down. And I want you to pretend like you're squashed between 2 Oreo cookies and you are the vegan cream on the inside. Did you guys know that Oreos are vegan? They're not gluten-free, but they're vegan. Yeah, they always have been, I think. Keeping space on your left waistline. You find that long spine, a little more energy sucking up through your feet. Take 1 more breath in and a breath out. Circle your right hand back down to the ground. Pivot your left toes to face the long end of your mat with your spine there too. Breathe in, find long spine again. Breathe out, fold down. Maybe this time you grab onto your ankles. So there's less surface area that's supporting you. No fingers. But notice if you need to bend your knees and practice shifting weight forward into your toes, believing that your toes will catch you. Being really generous with your hamstrings by keeping the knees soft. And work more on tilting the tailbone to the sky while your head dives down. Just take 1 more breath. And using your hands, push underneath your shoulders. You're just gonna heel toe your feet until you come to about hip width distance apart. Okay, take a breath in, find a halfway lift. And breathe out, bend your knees a lot so you can come onto them. I want you to waddle your hips from side to side with your thighs kind of close together for now. And just noticing if the ground feels really sensitive for your knees already. I want you to just roll up your mat, kind of like so. Luckily we've got carpet here, so it's not that bad. You're gonna start to walk your knees out really wide. And I'll show you from the side or from the front while Unique shows from the side. You're gonna go super wide as if you're going into a middle splits, but with your knees bent. So your knees have a 90-degree angle and your feet have a 90-degree angle in them with the instep facing down. Come onto your forearms. And if that feels good, you can stay right there. You could also put a block underneath your belly if that feels right. Adjust. Make those adjustments. Put one underneath your head or your chest. And I want you to play with finding that arch in your low back, but also the rounding in your low back. So imagine your tailbone lifting up and then tucking under and seeing if you can find a happy space for your inner thighs. So it's like a lift and a lower. And usually it's that lift that feels more intense for the inner thighs. Keep your hips stacked over your knees so you're not pushed back into a child's pose. You're kind of more upright. This one can be super intense, right? So give yourself the support you need. Take your time with your breath. Give yourself some squish for your knees. Take 2 more deep ones. If you're lower than your forearms, come back up to your forearms. Begin to walk one knee in at a time until they come all the way underneath your hips. You can come up onto your hands. Do that waddle again from side to side until your hips can dive all the way down into a regular seat facing the top of your mat. Okay, a different hip opener. Tuck your left ankle over by your right hip and take your right ankle all the way over your left thigh. And then I want you to drop that ankle even further back and let your knees stack one over the other. If this is not accessible for you, sometimes sitting on a block or straightening out your left leg is good enough, right? Do what you can, but try to stay seated on both of your sits bones wherever you are. Okay, take a breath in. The further away your ankles are actually, the more intense it'll be. So sit up tall. Exhale and let yourself dive forward with your hips glued back as best as you can. Using your hands in front of you as a lever to push yourself back. It can feel more intense for your hips. You should feel that on your right hip. Put a block underneath your forehead. Part of evolving is remembering where you started, where you began. So when you're folded in like this, I want you to think about how much you've grown in the past month or year or decade. How has your body transformed? Your mind developed? Or your energy shifted? And start to peel yourself open. With your hands back behind you, I want you to try like a fan kick. So straight leg all the way up and open, and then just switcheroo. That was very lovely. Nice work. If you're getting there, you're getting there. It's all good. Okay, sit and root into your sits bones again one more time, making those adjustments with the right leg straight. Remember, the knee wants to go down energetically, like away from you, down into the ground. Okay, breathe in, pick up your spine. Breathe out, fold it down. Use the support. Might feel different side to side. just want you to remember, as a yogi who's practicing asana, that evolving doesn't mean you don't need props anymore. Evolving is more so the realization that you're constantly changing day to day, breath to breath, position to position. Evolving is not letting ego get in the way. Commit to 3 more breaths here, staying or deepening, or even inching out. And breathe in, start to rise. Take the blocks out from in front of you. We're gonna fan kick again, but this time just with the feet out in front. Okay, one kind of different pose that we haven't done today yet. It'll feel really nice to get out of the hips. So plant your fingertips facing outwards with your hands underneath your shoulders. I'm gonna zip your legs together. So there's a really nice gluing of that inner line starting at your big toes. Dig into your heels so much so that your shoulders roll back too and your hips start to lift off the ground. This is like a reverse plank. So from the side, really quickly, take another breath in. Maybe your head drops back. And then exhale, lower your hips back down. Do a breath in and sit up tall, arms high to the sky. Exhale, reach for your feet. They don't have to touch. Grab whatever you can. Take another breath in. Big breath out. Take 3. And breathe in, release the grip, stack up your spine. Bend your knees and scoot your butt to the middle of your spot. I'm gonna stay over here to be able to show you our next move. You slowly roll down onto your back, one vertebrae at a time, maybe no hands. Okay, have your blocks ready at the side. Walk your feet in behind your hips just like you did before. Push into your feet, stick 1 block, maybe 2 underneath you. Remove or open up your shoulders, shoulder blades behind you. And then you can pick your feet up 1 at a time and stay just as you are here in this inversion, modified shoulder stand. If you want that same sensation we just had while seated in that forward fold, you still want to work into the back body. Keep your head looking straight up towards the ceiling. You can push into your hands, your arms, or you can use your hands to leverage your legs up and back behind you for a plow pose. So with your legs strong, or maybe you bend them a little bit, see if you can reach your toes for the ground. You can use your hands behind you to help push if that feels good. You can also bend your knees and cover your ears. Stay for 1 more breath. Watching out for the block that's underneath you. And breathe out, slowly lower your hips. Bend your knees. You can plant your feet down 1 at a time. Stay grounded in the hips. 1 more breath. And then lift your hips off the blocks. Lower your spine, your pelvis back down to the ground. Give yourself a little hug. Knees in, chin up. Squeeze. Take a breath in. Exhale and open yourself up, big and long. Or just arms down by your sides. I want you to stay in rest to complete this cycle of movement. Whether it's for the next 10 breaths that go in and out of your body naturally, or the next few minutes. Stay here, stay with yourself, and just notice that whirlpool of energy. What speed is it at? And can you begin to slow it down? Stay longer wherever you're at, or take a full inhale through your nose, and an open mouth exhale. Notice how that energy of air, of oxygen, starts to enliven your body. Take it slow, beginning with your hands or your feet, or even your head. Open yourself up into a big stretch, perhaps. Bend your knees, roll over onto your right or left side. And take a second on your side just to think of one thing you're grateful for. And maybe you stick to the theme of Earth Day and your appreciation for wildlife or nature in general. Your favorite element. Hold on to that energy, hold on to that gratitude, lift yourself up into a seat. Sit up tall, bring your hands in. Take a breath in through your nose. Open mouth exhale together. Thank you so much, Father Sky, Mother Earth, and to you, from our hearts to yours, namaste.